to explain to you guys. We're live right now on the YouTube. What's happening, YouTube fam? I'm excited because we are talking about road mapping today. Road mapping is a technique that's used to actually future cast, so to speak, goals, initiatives, projects, things of that nature. So it's bigger than goal setting. It's bigger than goal setting. Goal setting is where, you have a number, you make it smart, and then you go and chase after it. So before we get into all of that, I'm always going to ask the question. And the question is, drop your name and location. Where are you tuning in from? And what are these things that you are working on? What are these things that you're working on? What is it? What I know there's people are working on some really cool things. It is the first month of the third quarter. So people are working on projects, closing out on projects. And so I'm always curious to know, what are people doing? I also want to tap into my show notes and see what's going on here. Okay, cool. We are right on time. We are right on time. So we're going to do a recap of what we've been learning for Systems Lab Live. In particular, we will get into road mapping, and we're going to do a bit of a recap. All right. I love it. I love it. I love it. Let me make sure too that I want to make sure too on the YouTube that you guys can hear me. Let's see. Systems Lab Live, Ashley Schuler. Let's see. Should be right here. Let's documentation. Let me go right here. Because let me go right here. Okay, you guys can hear me. I was a little concerned. I was a little concerned that the people couldn't hear me. Okay, we're good to go. Great, we're good to go. Oh, shout out to also the 78 subscribers to the YouTube channel. We are 2 away from 80. We are 2 away from 80, which is really, really exciting. So come on in, come on through to YouTube and join in on the fun. I am going to pull up some notes that I have on. I'm going to pull up some notes right here that I have on the road mapping. Road mapping. Okay. Let's get some of these things in order. I just need to click this. Okay, great. I was like, why is it not clicking? It ain't clicking with the clicking. All right, cool. So let's talk a little bit. Let's recap a little bit about what's happening now. When it's coming to the show and tell, we did show and tell on Monday. We will revamp, what exactly we want to talk about. We talked about Slack on Monday and how to manage projects inside of Slack with team members, async communication, all of that good stuff. I did a 5, 6, 7-part series on the communication piece. It was lovely. I'm gonna sip a little tea. You guys tell me in the comments what you guys are working on. This is good. Got a little what's the tea flavor of the day? Forgot to mention that. International breakfast tea. For whatever reason, that's been good to me. For whatever reason, I need to go back to the Spice and Tea Exchange. Shout out to the Spice and Tea Exchange. It's lovely. It's like, it's like paradise. For real. Shout out to Mr. Thompson for being the 79th subscriber. I appreciate you greatly. But let's talk a little bit about road mapping and what that is. Road mapping is a process where an organization figures out where they are headed in the future and identifies the path that they need to take. Okay, that's what that is. That is what that is. And I think that is very, very important to understand that the process of road mapping is where we are not only taking what our goals are, but we're actually creating a visual representation of where it is that we want to go in the future. Okay. I was fascinated by this as I began to study NFTs and I started seeing roadmaps. I started paying attention to Apple and other apps that I was using, and they would talk about here's our feature roadmap, here's a roadmap to what we're doing. And I said to myself, well, doggone it, this is what folks have been doing for a while now. This is where you can really start developing even more intentionally a strategic plan by doing road mapping. Okay. So once again, road mapping, road mapping is a process where an organization, a brand, a business, a person creates a visual representation of where they're headed to in the future and identifies a path they need to take to get there. Wonderful. Wonderful. So if you think about this, and I'd love some participation tonight, talk to me about what you do in particular when it comes to visualizing what you need in the future. Do you write down like a mission statement for yourself for the year? Do you write down goals? What are the types of things that you do in order to keep yourself really on the right foot in terms of where you're headed? Because what I like about road mapping is it helps you do a few things. Streamlines and automates time consuming steps like task delegation, visualizes track work progress, you can access key reports, you can discuss tasks with common communication features. Now, what I just said is road mapping is best utilized in a project management tool. Okay. So you got yourself like an Asana or a ClickUp or Team ClickUp. Um, but you can, certainly use other tools, right? So what I mean is that goal setting is great. That's what I'm going to bring it back to that point. Goal setting is great because you have a number, you have a destination that you are looking towards. And that's like one thing usually. Road mapping says, I want to go a little bit deeper. I want to go a little bit deeper and I want to make sure that I have a really good visual representation of what I'm doing over the next couple of quarters. Everything from the business to the operations to the marketing to the services to everything in between. I want to understand what I need to be doing month by month, quarter by quarter. Okay? Quarter by quarter. And so, how you can use roadmaps is in a couple different ways. A strategic roadmap talks about the goals, talks about the objectives, talks about the ideas, and it communicates your vision in such a plain way. They have different things such as feature roadmaps. So that would be things that what's that tool? Scribe. Scribe has a feature roadmap where they're going to tell you we're releasing 10 features between now and the end of the third quarter of next year of 2023, something like that. But we're going to tell you each month what these features are going to be. so you know where we are headed and what we're working on. Great comments, a great question. Would you consider Monday a good management tool? Well, I like this question because I'm gonna loop this into another question. So I was in a community not the other day, it was today. And I was breaking down all these different apps, and I didn't want to start just throwing out apps and not having the context in helping people understand what to do. So someone asked, I've heard of Notion, but I don't understand what it's used for. So I explained at a high level that project management tools, ClickUp, Asana, Notion, Monday, Trello, functionally speaking, they all do the same things. They are geared to streamline your productivity. They are geared to help you manage your work, manage your time better, help to manage your client projects, keep you on task, help you to streamline communication, help you to not be on tons of Zoom calls and all the things, centralizes your work and all this other good stuff. Okay. Can you use Monday to manage your work? Absolutely. But I told this individual that for every project management tool out there, everyone has their own special sauce that makes that particular tool unique. People who like Monday.com, I hear, like some of the features because it's a little bit more easier to use. Some people like it because when it comes to some of the corporate aspects of traditional project management, Monday.com has close alignment to some of the aspects of like managing a schedule. Something that's so interesting is that Microsoft has built out a powerful tool called Microsoft Project, the standard in really managing schedules and all that other good stuff. I have used Microsoft Project. I've managed schedules on a corporate level. So I know the power of Microsoft Project. So any other tool that has scheduling software in it is essentially mimicking MS Project, because now that we're in more of the digital world, the digital world, digital project management, digital operations, we're embracing technology. When it comes to redefining and reimagining our work, we have to make sure that we're making things more easier. So Microsoft Project is a hard tool to actually learn. It's not impossible, but the learning curve is super, super steep. And if I had the capacity, I'd love to just pick some of that back up, because it was cool when I was working on it. It was super cool. But to Tevin's point, talking about is Monday a good tool? Remember that each of these project management tools have a personality. Okay, what do I mean by that? Great question. That means that no person is the same and no tool is the same, so that it's going to fit everybody's personality and style. Do you see what I mean? So is Monday a good project management tool? I would probably say that there are certain aspects of it that I like. I have to go back in and actually do a deep dive of it because it's been a while. But there's often, and it's also going to be dependent on the style, how you work, and there's so many different types of factors. ClickUp is going to give you flexibility. It's also going to grow with you as you hire, as you contract out, as you take pivots in direction in your business. You can use it as personal and you can use it professionally. There's a lot of flexibility with ClickUp, and for some that's great. For others it's like, ooh, so much flexibility that I could be overwhelmed. Could be. Asana, there's like Team Asana Nation right now. A lot of people like Asana. There is a simplicity about it, but then on the flip side of it, folks are like, it's a little too staticky for me. I kind of want, I kind of am looking for more flexibility. So people may go to another tool like ClickUp. People are also a part of Trello Nation as well. There's a certain simplicity about Trello that I think will get you really far if you are solo dolo and work with yourself and maybe like one or two other people. There's a certain simplicity that you can appreciate about Trello when it comes to managing big projects and things like that, and the flexibility. Folks are gonna come on over to ClickUp as well. And then you have Notion, which I believe the new kid on the block. I'm a part of the Notion ambassador team as well, Notion ambassador team, but also a ClickUp vetted consultant. Now, for Notion, what I love about Notion is that they are really ramping up their efforts to become a all-in-one and all-inclusive task and project management tool. Okay. I think it's a great product. It's a great tool. I use it for documentation. I use it for Bible study. I use it for writing things, taking notes, going to conferences, and the like. Okay. It is wonderful. Wonderful, people. Okay. So that answers the question. It was super kind of long, but I think it's important that we give a good perspective, right, on people using these project management tools. And sometimes you are in a season where one tool speaks to you, it works for you. And I believe in exhausting all of the tool features and options before you go and do some tool hopping. Okay. Once you got it, because you got to transfer data, you got to do all this stuff. Cool. Love it. Thank you for the question, Tevin. So different types of roadmaps. We talked about strategic roadmaps. I'll review that again in ClickUp. I wanted to make sure that we, start breaking these things down from a lesson perspective, and then we can just start reviewing some of these other things. Okay. Then we have the release roadmap, which again, this tells different teams what they need to do before they release a product. It also visualizes the processes need to be done and who's responsible for each of them. Think Apple, think Microsoft, think those types of things. They will have a release roadmap. Okay. Xbox. Okay. Microsoft. Gosh, what was that? What's that little laptop? Surface? Yeah, Surface for 100, Alex. Microsoft Surface, Xbox, okay. Release roadmap. Okay, sales, marketing, content and video. I'm just going through the different types of teams. So essentially, if there's going to be a Microsoft Surface MV895, whatever that is, what it does is that release roadmaps help teams to understand what am I responsible for to release the Microsoft Surface. Okay. Now, when it comes to a feature roadmap, we're talking about new product features. So, with that said, there could be a particular software or feature update for the Xbox. And there's going to be a feature roadmap that says October 2022, December 2022, February 2023. Make sense? Make sense? Type something in the chat. Does this make sense to y'all? Want to make sure that we're cooking here. We're cooking. Okay. Woo. Now, a product roadmap. Let's go back to when let me go back to this, because I thought this was powerful. Okay, wait a minute. Let me go back to the agile one because I think it's really, really important that we look at the product roadmap and what we talked about last time. Let's go over that again because powerful, because we really gotta get in tune. What is a product roadmap? A product roadmap is your vision for the product initiatives, features, and updates your team plans to launch over a period of time. You just said, Ashley, there's a features roadmap, and you just said that there was a product roadmap. You know what I'm saying? You said no. You said, Ashley. Let me back it up. You said, Ashley, that there is a release roadmap and a features roadmap. But now you're saying there's a product roadmap. I'm telling you, you could roadmap just about anything. So let's break this down for a minute, because what you can do, depending again, company, time, preference, methodology, all those things, a product roadmap, your vision for releasing the product initiatives, the features, the updates your team plans to launch over a set period of time. Your roadmap should be time bound and specific so you can see what features you're launching and how you're going to get there. Again, visual, people. All right, cool. A product roadmap is your product team's vision for the features you plan to launch in a given period of time. Your product roadmap is your team's single source of truth for those launches. Mighty Networks does this super well. Mighty Networks is a membership tool. And what Mighty Networks does often is they will send emails out saying, hey, we got some fantastic updates. RSVP to the webinar, RSVP via text or what have you. And we want to tell you what the new features are, where we're headed. They're talking about road mapping. They're talking about the product roadmap for Mighty Networks. Make sense? So when they announced that they were going to have live video, product roadmap. When circle.so, if they decide to say, you know what, we're going to have live video conferencing inside of the live streaming feature. Okay? You see what I'm saying? Internally, there is a timeline, and then there are certain tasks that are associated with that particular feature that's going to be launched. How many of y'all are feeling this? Put a 1 in the chat. Y'all feeling this? Shout out to Team Corsical. I hadn't had really any tea in the past couple days, so this is from this afternoon. The Corsical people, shout out to Corksicle. Man, that's it. Corksicle. Shout out to this team because they they'll keep stuff warm. And so does Swell. I have to say I'm super impressed with the Swell people. Super impressed. But this will keep this joint warm. I mean, I made this around 2 something. I usually have to wait a good 30 minutes to get it where it's sipable. That's not even a word. Okay. Anyway, back in business. Okay. Product road mapping. This is something that, so we talked a little bit about this, a project plan. Now, project plans are developed to write, basically, it's like a manual. basically talking about this is how the project is going to run. Product roadmaps say, here's a high level view of the direction in which we're going. Visualize Microsoft, visualize the iPhone, visualize the iPad, visualize the Xbox. Okay. So that's the main difference that I want you all to remember. Project plans are living, breathing. They say, what's the scope? What are the requirements? What's the budget? The people, the resources, who's working on this, milestones, key tasks, and deliverables. Living, breathing document. That's a part of the historical documentation. That should be a part of your knowledge management. And who am I speaking to when it comes to the knowledge management piece? I'm really speaking to the online business owners that roll out projects like virtual events on a regular basis, coaching programs and things of that nature. You don't even probably you're not even necessarily even calling like coaching programs like your project plan, right? That's you can call it something else, like, the group coaching plan, whatever, documentation plan. And again, similar aspects of a project plan. But let me make sure that I refine that statement. Project plans, especially when you're working in the tech space, corporate, very important. I would encourage project plans, even definitely for online business owners, working on initiatives, okay, launching things, programs, right? Virtual events. The project plan is great, because it truly, it will help you to capture key information and pass it on to other team members. Good for knowledge management when you create a project repository. I'm going to, and also wanted to let you know that it's also one of those things where if you are in like the online business space, you may not necessarily create a project plan per se, but you may want to have, definitely something to reference for teams, like for graphic design projects, really big projects. I would say a project plan would be good to have. Let's see. I do want to also note that a lot of project management best practices are certainly flexible. So this is one of my mock spaces. Andrea's client playbook. That could very much be a project plan. Okay. Project overview, budget, scoping and requirements, what's required to get the job done, and then how are we going to measure the fact that we completed this project and that we've done it well. What are the tangibles and what are the intangibles according to the customer's vision? I'm going to pull a little agile project management in the mix, where agile project management says we don't wait to get feedback on if we are doing a good job on producing a website or producing a thing for a client. We work in sprints, short iterations, 7 days, 14 days. And then we go and get feedback. And then we go back and refine. But that all depends on the scope, the complexity, and what you're working on. Y'all understand? Y'all understand this? Okay. Project overview. We said that. Requirements. So let's see. Again, making this real simple. Look at this. Brand colors, brand messaging. This could all be a project plan. A project plan. Kickoff meeting. This is super cool. Now I can drag and drop table, rows, and columns. Oh, cool. I love that. Requirements, documentation. If you wanted to, you can most certainly put a Google Doc in here to reference for other people. If you have weekly meetings, you can of course put that information there. So that's one way of doing it. Do I have another? Let me see if I have another. Okay, here we go. I think we have another project management plan. Okay, this is what I would also recommend. Shout out to the graphic designers and those that are in that service providing space that need to just capture information. Now, again, this doesn't have to be you, this could be somebody else. But look at this, a client branding guide, having the hex colors, having the link to the logo, link to the font type. The project management plan is right here. And for sure, again, this really gets everybody on the same page, Project overview, the goals and the metrics, the project team, the scope of work, the requirements, the budget, communication, client communication, risk management, schedule management, all the things. All of the things. All right. So I want to go back over. Let me just make sure I have everything that I want to share. We're going to go back over to Whimsical, and we're going to go back over to Whimsical. Back over to Whimsical. All right. So where are we right now? Okay. So the benefits of a product roadmap are as follows. Outline your project objectives, gain buy-in in on project deliverables, manage stakeholder expectations. So that's what product roadmaps are good for. Okay. They answer these three questions. And like I said, I love going back to this because I think we all need to answer this question. What are we doing next? What's the actual plan? And why are we doing this now? That's what these roadmaps do. That's why I say it takes it a step further than goal setting. What are we doing next? What's the actual plan? And why are we doing this now? Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Are we understanding the relevancy of why this is important? Road mapping, this is a key tool and key strategy. These questions: what are we doing next? What's the actual plan? And why are we doing this now? When it comes to leading a team of people, we have to make sure that we are articulating the vision and articulating where we are going. How many of us feel that? Because we cannot get mad and frustrated at people because we're saying you're not doing what I think you're supposed to be doing, or how come you're not, all in on what's going on. This actually helps to take your vision out from here, put it on the screen in a visual manner, and now we're able to ask these questions. What are we doing next? What's the actual plan? And why are we doing this now? Hello, somebody. Who's asked that question before? Excuse me. Can I just raise my hand right quick? Can I? Can I? Can I? And can I ask that question? Why are we doing this now? Beautiful. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Let's get into the mix right here. Examples of product roadmaps, company vision, membership slash community vision, virtual event. Um, again, product roadmaps. What else? I'm gonna put this right here. Course roadmap. Come on, somebody. Man, group. Look at this. Group coaching roadmap. Could you imagine that? Group coaching roadmap. Group coaching roadmap. I could see this being hot like fire, as Missy Elliott would say. I could see this being hot like fire, a group coaching roadmap to be able to outline, all right, not only the launch with the task and everything, but then looking at quarter by quarter, month by month, what are some of the enhancements that are being made? And again, this is also, you're not, let me dial this back because we getting excited. You're not packing in like 50 million tasks like you would a project. Okay. You're taking maybe it's like 2 things that you're doing per quarter for the group coaching roadmap. But I think this is genius to talk about, man, what's next after I've done this particular launch and I've been doing group coaching for 6 months, or I've done it for a year. And now it's time to evaluate. So now I'm going to build out this roadmap that says January and first quarter of Q1 of 2022, I'm going to get somebody to come in and evaluate the course. Okay. And evaluate from a content perspective my curriculum. And you could do the same thing with a course roadmap. So you could create a whole roadmap of the launch, the project itself, and then also too, operations and the maintenance part of it. Like what's going to be going on, 3 months from now in each quarter. What are those 1 to 2 things that that you'd like to do? So that's always an option, okay? So, how do we organize a product roadmap? This is, we'll probably also revisit, some other things inside of here once I finish building this out. So I like this right here. Step 1, how do we do this? Okay, I've explained a lot of terminology. We've gotten really excited about the importance of road mapping, but where does one start? Which I think is a great question. Number 1, create an organizational goal. What are you looking to accomplish with your products and features? Let's translate that. What are you looking to accomplish inside of your brand or business with a particular course, a particular product, a service? Okay, what are you looking to accomplish? Let's make sure that we make that plain, and we're able to relate to that. Maybe it's an app, maybe it's an NFT. What's that goal? And so that's why road mapping is so clutch, because it takes you beyond having a smart goal, which is great, but road mapping forces you to say, first of all, what am I doing? Why am I doing it? And what's the actual plan? What's the actual plan? I love it. What's going on, Mason? Great to see you. Number 2 is, and then you go and you create the roadmap. Okay. And then it says that you document the features. Let's break that down, shall we? We shall. Create the blank roadmap, the strategic roadmap, the course roadmap, the membership roadmap, the online coaching program roadmap, the virtual event roadmap. Document the features. Okay. So if you're doing a virtual event and you want to create a virtual roadmap, then what do you need to do? You need to outline milestone deadlines, right? Milestones are those are those key tasks, okay? Those key type of deliverables. I mean, key milestone deadlines. These are just really important tasks that you want to highlight. And then you want to break that down, not just week by week, but I like the month or the week view. Personally, gives you a really good perspective to say, next week, I'm going to work on the vision for the virtual event. Oh, wow. When I look at it visually within my project management tool, it says the following week, I'm working on the marketing. And that could be, again, you're breaking that down. That could be a whole something else, right? That could be outsourced, all those different types of things. So we'll stop there with the showing you all that portion of it. I hope that was useful, because it was useful for me personally. It was useful for me. And let me switch over. I'm going to go into my other sandbox and sandbox it up. Sandbox it up. Did I do the community product roadmap? Now, stop sharing. To be honest, though, and I'm going to share my screen, and then we're going to wrap up in a couple of minutes. To be honest, though, I could have, I'm actually going to duplicate this and see if I can, I'm going to see if I can make this per quarter. But y'all kind of saw what I was doing right here. I kind of made it into a list view. Is it copying the list? Lord, it's taking a little bit of a long time. That's okay. Timeline. As you see right here, the timeline in, yeah, this is why it's weird if you do it in timeline view. Whoop. So if you do it in timeline view, you get, you know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to duplicate this as a list. And I'm going to group this by quarter. Boom. Quarter. Perfect. All right. Okay, let's go in a little bit more. Okay. Okay, I just want to make sure you guys can see it, because sometimes, All right. So here's what we're doing. Membership product roadmap. So what we doing? What are we focusing on, right? For Q3, a private podcast and a course. Q4, we're doing 2 courses, and now we are starting inside the member live stream videos. Okay? You see this? Ooh, this is nice. Q4, Q1 of 2023, we're doing 2 workshops in a course. See, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. This is good, right, y'all? This is really good. So this is a great way for you to organize what you're about to do with your membership Shout out to the Black Podcasters Association. Shout out to some of the great communities I'm a part of: Deeper Than the Brand, Laptop Collective, and the such and the like. I always think about, what am I part of, and sort of pulls inspiration from these different areas. But this is a great way to get your team together for you to have a meeting, a relevant meeting. You're not just meeting just to meet, and say to yourself, self and team, this is a plan. This is what we're looking at, right? So that's all that we have for today. Just wanted to wrap this portion up of road mapping. It was entitled, I Need a Clear Vision, because oftentimes we may not be sitting back and understanding where it is that we are going. And I'm super excited that I've spent this time studying road mapping, what it is, and then making this visual for you guys. Go back and watch these past 4 episodes and definitely send them to your friend. Watch them with your team members, because I'm telling you, just like Mark said, write the vision and make it plain. Habakkuk 2:2. Come on, y'all. So good. All right, y'all. That is all that I have. Next week, I believe it's only one Systems Lab Live. I know. But I got some cool things going on. So we'll talk soon. Bye.